Alright, what's going on, guys? So it's been a while since I've made a video, and so my 350Z fun car hasn't gone anywhere, but I just got a new truck. Keys are right here, and I haven't showed you guys yet. And I don't know if it's something that anyone expected, but here she is in all her glory. So this is a 2003 Chevy 2500 HD Duramax diesel, but it's not your average Chevy 2500. These gauges might be a strong indicator, but I'll show you. So this specific truck makes about 1,300 horsepower to the wheel. I'll go over the build sheet exactly, but it is absolutely terrifyingly fast. This truck, I don't even know how to explain how much torque this truck makes, and let alone power, but this is a S488 feeding a S468. Which then that puts out somewhere between 80 and 100 psi boost at full load, which, I mean, it's kind of difficult to do that because you don't get traction. I haven't even come close going full throttle. And so for engine wise, we have dual LB7 pumps, which this is obviously the industrial injection dual fueler kit, so puts out lots of fuel pressure. Those are feeding 150% over SAC style injectors, SAC style, whatever you want to call them. And then the motor, which I could put pictures right here. Just to show you guys, it is fully built from the crank up, and I will talk about every single part that's in there in order for it to hold that kind of power. Because if you know LB7s, they aren't known to be very powerful, they aren't known to be fast at all, but when built right, they can actually be very, very powerful. The advantage to them is the fact that they don't have any emissions on them. Like, I've owned two LMMs, which you may have seen before, especially if you follow me on Instagram at DirtyMax302. So that's the motor on the truck. The transmission's fully built. The differentials are stock, which I plan on going with a Dodge rear end, just because these LB7 rear ends aren't very strong, and I don't want to break any gears back there. The torque, it has a triple disc torque converter, which you obviously can't see. Other than that, the transfer case is, it's stock. It just has the P-pump rub mod, so it does not rub at all. So then, as far as exhaust goes, it has the 4-inch downpipe to a 5-inch straight pipe to a 6-inch custom tip. It's a rounded off tip, so it gives kind of a unique sound. Taillights are smoked, but I have replacements on their way. Interior wise, my health is unlocked. It's a little dirty. I haven't had time to clean it because my work schedule has been kind of chaotic lately. But it's the LT, so it has Bose heated memory seats. You could also see the gauge cluster is replaced with an aftermarket cluster, which I'll show that in a second. But you guys probably want to hear what the truck sounds like. It has a pretty unique sound just because, well, it just has a fully built motor, so it's going to sound kind of like a lower pitch, and it also just sounds more powerful. So as you can see, it runs really well. And so probably the craziest aspect of this truck is, believe it or not, the body has 295,000 miles on it. Now, mechanically it doesn't. I mean, it probably has, trans has maybe 30,000. The new motor on it has very, very low miles, especially on the new crankshaft. It's probably under 1,000 miles on the new crankshaft. But it has very minimal rust for being that old. Like, this is about it right here and a little bit right there, which that's easily fixable. The frame underneath, spotless. Now it's not absolutely perfect because I live in Delaware, we get snow, there's been a lot of salt on the roads, and obviously I'm not taking my car. That would be terrible. Alright, so let's see. So as far as interior wise, nothing's really done to it besides this gauge cluster, which you can kind of see from this angle. It looks really great, and for miles, let me get this back up. I don't know if I could get it on camera. 295,804 miles. As far as gauges go, we have boost, which you can see it's a very, very high level reading gauge. Exhaust back pressure isn't even hooked up, but we do have fuel rail pressure as well, which I will probably end up leaving boost and fuel rail pressure and then installing a CTS3 probably right here. I just don't need 4 gauges, and it kind of blocks my visibility. Now, tow mirrors, we have just standard mirrors, nothing fancy. I plan on switching out to Boost Auto parts probably soon. I don't know if I want to go full color match or what, or get them built, but that should be good. Also, I'm going to turn on high idle while I'm at it. It's a little switch here. Basically turn that on and then you press the cruise control. You got yourself high idle. Because high idle didn't really exist in 2003. I don't know what year it started being put in these trucks, but I know both of my LMMs had it. I don't know if LBZs have it. I don't know if LLYs have it. Not really sure. Now, as far as interior mods, I don't really have anything planned besides head unit and then door speakers. I mean, it sounds really good, but I just want to be able to have good music. And then exterior wise, we could kind of just get into that because there's kind of a lot that I have planned for it, because everything mechanically is already done. Definitely want to do headlights, definitely want to do cab lights, taillights already on their way, tow mirrors, and then I could go into whether or not I'm going to lift it or maybe drop shackle it, just because it is kind of a race truck. And yeah, go from there. Different wheels, different suspension setups, I don't really know. So if you guys have any ideas, just drop them in the comments, because I am fully open to different ideas for this truck, because it's pretty unique. So alright, oil pressure isn't too high. We should be good to get going, but definitely going to show you guys what this truck sounds like, especially when driving. And it's also going to start raining here soon, so I just kind of want to get this video finished. Crack the windows a little bit so you can hear a little bit of the turbos. It's a completely reliable, drivable setup. It might be a hair on the smoky side just because 150% over injectors, basically anything 100% over and higher is pretty difficult to tune. But it's completely drivable. I mean, it just builds boost, and once the S488 spools, your mileage is non-existent. That was maybe 15% throttle. Wasn't really pushing any positive air either. Notice it's not even smoking. It's tuned right. Transmission hasn't even warmed up yet, so can't really do anything crazy. It'll handle the power, but the converter will start slipping before anything. So I'll put it on tow haul so it actually locks the converter. So that was about 55, no, that was like 60 to 70 PSI right there. It's pretty crazy, honestly. Alright, so in order to get over 1,000 horsepower on any sort of Duramax, if anyone knows about, you know, diesel engines or Duramax, or like Duramax versus Power Stroke versus Cummins, it's not cheap. Honestly, the best engine to build for power is easily any 5.9 Cummins, without a doubt. You don't have emissions to worry about, and also those bottom ends can hold 1,000 horsepower easily. It's not exactly good for them, but they can hold it. For a Duramax, on the other hand, it could cost you, $40,000-$50,000 to get to that number, which that doesn't even include the truck. That's just parts. So this engine, starting at the very bottom of it, it has a Callie's Compstar 1200 horsepower rated crank. It was actually utilizing a LLY crank, but that one actually had a very slight crack between the harmonic balancer and I think it was the first cylinder rod. So a slight crack, and the previous owner noticed that there was this little slight vibration, so he just pulled the motor and he knew what it was. So he's like, all right, well, we're going to make this exactly how it should be, and then just went with this crank and basically took the entire thing apart himself, because he was a mechanic on big rig trucks, so he has all the tools that he needs to do it. So he pulled the crank out. Well, he didn't pull the crank out. He took the entire motor apart and then got the crank, and inspected everything, sent everything to a machine shop that builds race engines. They steam cleaned everything, checked everything, rebalanced everything, and the motor is extremely solid right now. I think that's pretty obvious, and if I play a clip of it just idling, you can notice the engine does not vibrate at all. I mean, obviously it's going to have this standard little vibration, but you can put water on there and it's not going to move. It's an extremely solid engine, and both other trucks I had, the LMMs, the dashboard would rattle on this, but I could start this truck right now and my camera will not move. Watch. The glow plugs warm up a little bit. It's idling right now. My dash is not rattling. What you're hearing is this. It's my phone holder. But aside from my phone holder vibrating and the fast 150 that's underneath, no rattle, which is very impressive for a diesel engine. Because especially when pushing any sort of high power numbers, you don't want to have any sort of slight play in any of the parts internally, because that's how something breaks. If everything is completely secured with no sort of movement, it's solid. So Compstar crank, which is holding Carrillo rods and Molly pistons, which the Molly pistons are the oval pattern. I could put a picture right here. So that way it better utilizes the entire combustion from the injector, and also just so it didn't wear down as much. And then we have holding up top, Empire alternate fire camshaft with Hamilton valve springs, chromoly push rods, and then industrial injection thread in cups, with an LBZ oil pump instead of the LB7 oil pump. So everything is kind of either swapped out to LB7 or just custom built, basically, because LB7 is a very proven engine, and I mean, kind of the least problematic, and that's why everyone wants them. We have a pinned water pump gear, and then cooling, we have Mishimoto intercooler, and then as far as exhaust, we have the PP manifolds and FlowPro up pipes. And turbo wise, both are from BorgWarner, and we have an S488 feeding a S468, which they're just built compound turbos. And then we have the SAC, whatever you want to call them, I'm not really sure, 150% over injectors, which are being fed by the industrial injection dual fueler pumps. Now, as far as, let me pull up the build list for the transmission. The transmission is fully built as well, which I haven't really thought about if I want to go with the 6-speed conversion or just continue with the 5-speed. But we have I'm going to say it wrong, but Gurend or Gorend or whatever, Gorend J triple disc converter, and then Ray Bestos clutches. I really hope I'm saying this right. Oiler PTO plates, and then valve body pressure increase, billet C2 hub. So that means the weakest point of the entire, every mechanical aspect of this vehicle is the rear end. The rear end is, I mean, I hope it doesn't break on me. But I plan on swapping out to a Dodge rear end because they can hold it, that's just the gearing inside the rear diff. This also has traction bars, and it also has a kryptonite front end. So it just has the kryptonite tie rods and then the center link. I do plan on switching to control arms, upper and lower, and then also basically trying to build the whole thing to be a solid kryptonite front end. I don't want to destroy this thing doing boosted launches because 2,000 plus pounds of torque will probably break it. I mean, it'll break something, but it's just not worth it to me. Which I don't know what kind of, if I want to do any racing either. I don't know, it's hard to say. I don't really know what the future holds with this truck. But with that being said, that is essentially mechanically the whole build list. Aside from that, we just have the improved dash. There's LED headlights, LED bulbs all around. I have LED taillights coming. Fast 150 underneath, traction bars. These tires, the wheels and tires, which I don't plan on keeping them long. I'll probably do like a couple burnouts. I'll probably do a burnout, rotate them, burnout, and then just switch. I don't know. And also, this thing needs a whole deep cleaning, which I will try to video myself doing and then showcase everything that I do. I just really don't have the time because of my work schedule. But work is what allowed me to get this thing, so really appreciative of that, and also just having a job during these tough times. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this upload and are looking forward to content with this truck, because as far as I know, especially on YouTube, I mean, there's a lot of fast diesel trucks that people on YouTube have, but I haven't quite seen an LB7 or any sort of Duramax putting out over 1,000 horsepower that people actually try to build on the channel. Like, it might be a video of them doing a burnout or like a race, but that's it. And I really want to kind of share this truck with you guys, just because this truck has so much potential and I want to be able to do everything possible to it. One thing, oh wait, I just forgot this too as I was saying this. My 350Z isn't going anywhere. I don't really know what my plan is with that. This truck kind of makes it feel very slow, even though it is a twin turbo 350Z. So that's not really going anywhere. So don't think, oh, the car is, you know, I'm just going to sell it because I have this truck. I don't know what the plan is, but I mean, if someone did want to buy it and they offered me, you know, right offer, I might let it go. But this truck is now my biggest priority because that car, it's fun, it's drivable. I've done a lot to it, which there's an update video coming with some of the parts I have installed or will be installing in the near future. So with that being said, thank you, take care, and have a nice day. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to follow this entire truck build also on Instagram at DirtyMax302. That's kind of just where I put pictures of everything, any sort of updates, and maybe small videos on my story of the truck, any kind of just stay updated with that. So thank you, take care, and have a nice day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.